In the high-altitude wilderness, where the Earth scrapes the sky and the world narrows into a realm of ice and stone, a question arises. How do animals manage to survive in such an unforgiving landscape where temperatures can drop to minus 40 degrees Celsius and oxygen levels are reduced by 40% compared to sea level? This is not a place of abundance, but of stark contrasts, where life is both a miracle and a constant struggle, with only 10% of the world's species capable of enduring such extreme conditions. Mountainous environments are among the most extreme habitats on Earth, with altitudes reaching over 8,000 meters, like in the Himalayas, where survival becomes a daily battle against the elements. As altitude increases, temperatures plummet, and the once warm breath of the lowlands transforms into a biting, frigid wind, often dropping by 6.5 degrees Celsius for every 1,000 meters climbed. In these icy heights, the cold is a constant companion, seeping into every crevice and challenging the very essence of life, with animals like the yak evolving thick fur layers to withstand temperatures that can plummet to minus 30 degrees Celsius. The air itself becomes thinner, leaving creatures to gasp for oxygen in an atmosphere that seems to withhold its life-giving properties, where oxygen levels can drop to as low as 50% of what is found at sea level, forcing animals to develop larger lung capacities. The simple act of breathing becomes a challenge, and for many animals, every breath is a testament to their resilience. It's an environment stripped of comfort, where barren landscapes offer little in the way of shelter or sustenance. Vegetation is sparse, and what does grow is often stunted and tough, requiring animals to adapt their diets and foraging behaviors to survive. The lack of oxygen at high altitudes also means that animals have had to evolve unique physiological adaptations, such as increased red blood cell counts seen in Andean condors, allowing them to soar at altitudes above 5,000 meters. For instance, the snow leopard, a ghostly predator of these heights, has a large nasal cavity to warm the frigid air and an incredibly efficient blood-oxygen exchange system that allows it to thrive where others would perish, capable of surviving at altitudes up to 5,500 meters. Survival in mountainous environments is not only a battle against the cold, but also against each other. The scarcity of resources means that every living creature, from the smallest insect to the largest predator, is in fierce competition. Food sources are limited, and the distances between them vast, sometimes requiring animals to travel up to 30 kilometers a day in search of sustenance, as seen with the Himalayan tahr. This forces animals into a life of constant movement and vigilance, as they search for sustenance in a landscape where every calorie counts. Adding to the challenge is the unpredictable nature of mountain weather. One moment the sun might be shining, casting a deceptive warmth over the landscape, and the next, a storm rolls in, bringing with it snow, sleet and biting winds, with wind speeds sometimes reaching up to 160 kilometers per hour, as recorded in the Andes. These sudden changes in weather can catch even the most seasoned mountain dwellers off guard, leading to dangerous situations like avalanches, which can release up to 300,000 tons of snow in a single event. The mountain goat, with its sure-footed grace, might find itself trapped on a ledge by a sudden blizzard, its survival hinging on its ability to endure the storm, where temperatures can drop by 20 degrees Celsius within an hour. Not just large mammals, but insects, birds, and even plants have adapted in remarkable ways. The alpine bumblebee, for instance, has evolved to fly at altitudes where oxygen levels are so low that most insects would struggle to survive. This small creature's wings beat faster in the thin air, generating the lift needed to navigate the steep slopes in search of nectar. Similarly, hardy mountain flora have developed tough, waxy leaves to reduce water loss and withstand the cold, allowing them to survive in this harsh climate where more delicate species would wither, like the edelweiss, which thrives at altitudes above 2,000 meters. In this dramatic landscape, life is a delicate dance, a series of adaptations and strategies honed over millennia to survive against the odds. Every species in these high-altitude environments plays a role in a complex ecosystem, where the survival of one often depends on the survival of many. The predator and prey, the plant and pollinator, all are intertwined in a web of life that is as fragile as it is resilient. Despite the harsh conditions, these animals have not only managed to survive, but to thrive in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. Their existence is a testament to the incredible adaptability of life, and their stories are a vivid illustration of the relentless drive to survive against all odds. As the planet warms, the cold sanctuaries of the mountains are changing in ways that deeply affect the creatures that inhabit them, with glaciers retreating at an alarming rate, losing nearly 1.2 trillion tons of ice per year globally. For centuries, mountain animals have adapted to the frigid, stable climates of these high-altitude environments. But now, global warming is disrupting this delicate balance, with average global temperatures increasing by 1.1 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times, significantly altering mountain ecosystems. Rising temperatures are causing glaciers to retreat, snow lines to ascend, and seasonal patterns to shift unpredictably. In this changing landscape, animals like the iconic snow leopard and the elusive mountain hare find their habitats shrinking, with the snow leopard's range having decreased by 40% over the past few decades. These species are finely tuned to the cold, relying on the deep snow and freezing temperatures to thrive. As the snow recedes, so too does their world. The snow leopard, once camouflaged by its snowy surroundings, becomes more visible to prey and rivals, increasing the difficulty of hunting. The mountain hare, which turns white in winter, faces a perilous mismatch with its environment when the snow is delayed or thin, leaving it exposed to predators. The warming climate also impacts the food chain. Alpine plants, adapted to short, cool growing seasons, are now blooming earlier or moving to higher altitudes where the conditions are still suitable. This shift in vegetation affects the entire ecosystem, as herbivores must migrate farther and higher in search of food, and the predators that depend on them are forced to follow. For many animals, the increasing temperatures mean moving upward, but there is a limit to how far they can go. Eventually, they run out of mountain, and with it, the resources they need to survive. Climate change doesn't just warm the planet, it makes weather patterns more unpredictable. For mountain animals, this volatility can be as dangerous as the temperature rise itself. Sudden storms, late frosts, or unexpected thaws can disrupt the natural rhythms that these creatures rely on for survival. For instance, the migration patterns of birds that nest in mountainous regions are being thrown into disarray. Species that once relied on specific temperature cues to time their migration now find themselves arriving too early or too late to coincide with peak food availability. The black redstart, a small bird that breeds in Rocky Mountain areas, may find that the insects it feeds on are no longer abundant when it needs them most, leading to a decline in breeding success. Similarly, hibernating species such as the marmot, which has long slumbered through the harsh winter months, are waking earlier as temperatures rise. But with food sources still scarce during these early wake-ups, the energy they expend during this time can lead to starvation. Even the weather patterns that define the seasons are shifting. The monsoons, which bring life-sustaining rains to mountain regions, are becoming less reliable. In some years, the rains come late or not at all, leaving animals without the water they need during critical breeding and feeding periods. Conversely, when the rains come too heavily or too soon, they can cause landslides and floods, devastating habitats and washing away the fragile soil that alpine plants need to survive. As the impacts of climate change intensify, mountain animals are forced to adapt or face extinction. Yet adaptation is no simple feat in these environments, where the margin for survival is already razor thin. Evolution, which has so finely tuned these species to their harsh but stable habitats, now struggles to keep pace with the rapid changes inflicted by a warming world. Amidst these challenges, there is also resilience. Some species are finding ways to cope, altering their behaviors and even their physiology to better fit the new conditions. The ptarmigan, a bird that changes its plumage with the seasons, is beginning to molt earlier in response to warmer temperatures. Meanwhile, some populations of mountain goats are adjusting their grazing habits, shifting their ranges to find more suitable environments. The interconnectedness of life in these high-altitude ecosystems means that changes in one species ripple through the entire community. The survival of one often hinges on the survival of many, creating a delicate balance that is now being tested as never before. As plants, prey and predators all shift their ranges and behaviors, the mountains themselves become a dynamic landscape, a place where adaptation is constant and survival is uncertain. In the high-altitude realms, where the Earth's bones jut toward the heavens, life is a constant battle against the elements, terrain, and the ever-present spectre of hunger. Here, in the harsh embrace of the mountains, the challenges animals face are as towering as the peaks themselves. For those who call these heights home, survival is not merely a matter of endurance. It's a relentless, daily struggle. The first harbinger of change in the mountains is often the thaw of winter, when the snow begins to retreat, revealing the rocky, barren ground beneath. For the sea geese, who rely on precise seasonal timing for their migration, the early arrival of spring can spell disaster. These birds, adapted to cold and ready for the predictable progression of seasons, may find themselves returning to nesting grounds that are still buried under snow or devoid of the vegetation they need to sustain their young. As global warming accelerates, these shifts become more common, forcing sea geese to adjust their migratory patterns or risk losing their offspring to starvation. The unpredictability of spring's arrival challenges their survival, as they must navigate changing conditions while still adhering to the ancient rhythms that have governed their migrations for millennia. High in the snow-clad mountains of Central Asia, the snow leopard, a ghostly predator of the peaks, prowls its territory in search of prey. These solitary hunters, perfectly adapted to the thin air and rocky terrain, face an increasingly desperate quest for food. As the climate warms and their prey migrates to higher or different areas, snow leopards are forced to traverse greater distances across perilous landscapes, burning precious energy reserves. The shrinking habitat not only makes hunting more difficult, but also brings snow leopards into more frequent conflict with humans, as they sometimes prey on livestock when wild game is scarce. This struggle underscores the fragile balance that snow leopards must maintain, constantly calculating the risks of a hunt that might take them across dangerous cliffs or into the territory of a rival. In the highlands of Ethiopia, another battle for survival plays out among the gelada monkeys, who live at elevations of up to 4,500 meters, higher than any other primate. These unique primates, often referred to as bleeding heart baboons, due to the bright red patch on their chests, live on the grassy plateaus that rise above the tree line. Here, life is a fierce competition for resources and dominance within the troop. Gelada monkeys are grass eaters, spending hours each day foraging for the tough blades that grow in their rugged environment, sometimes consuming up to 60% of their body weight in grass each day to meet their energy needs. But as climate change alters the availability of their food sources, these primates face increasing challenges. Males, in particular, engage in brutal battles for control of harems, knowing that dominance can mean the difference between passing on their genes or being relegated to the periphery of the troop. The constant struggle for food and power leaves little room for error in these lofty, windswept realms. Among the craggy peaks of North America, The mountain goat, a sure-footed emblem of alpine survival, descends from its lofty perches to seek out something as essential as life itself: minerals. High-altitude environments often lack the salt and other minerals that are crucial to the goat's health, forcing them to venture down into the valleys where such resources can be found, sometimes traveling over 20 kilometers in a single trip. These journeys are fraught with danger. As they move from the relative safety of the cliffs to the open terrain of the valleys, mountain goats become more vulnerable to predators like wolves and bears. The need to balance their dietary requirements with the risks of predation is a delicate dance, one that these hardy animals must perform regularly to survive. While descending to find minerals is risky, staying in the mountains during heavy snowfall presents its own set of dangers. When the snow piles high, it can bury the vegetation that mountain goats rely on for food, forcing them to dig through deep drifts to find sustenance. This effort consumes precious energy, weakening the goats just as they become more exposed to predators. Heavy snowfall also creates opportunities for predators who can track the weakened goats more easily through the snow. Cougars and wolves in particular exploit these conditions, turning the deep snows into hunting grounds where the odds are stacked in their favor. For the mountain goats, survival through the winter months depends on their ability to navigate these treacherous conditions, conserving energy while avoiding the watchful eyes of predators. As winter descends upon the world's highest peaks, the mountains transform into a realm of ice and snow. Where survival becomes a relentless struggle against the elements, with temperatures often plunging to minus 20 degrees Celsius or lower. For the animals that call these rugged landscapes home, winter is not just a season. It's a gauntlet of challenges that tests their resilience to the fullest. In the remote, towering heights of mountain ranges, winter storms arrive with a ferocity unmatched in the lowlands. The once clear skies are quickly consumed by swirling clouds, and the temperature drops sharply as fierce winds drive sheets of snow across the landscape, creating wind chills that can reach minus 40 degrees Celsius or lower. For animals in these regions, such storms present immediate and life-threatening challenges. Extreme winter storms can bury the land under deep blankets of snow, making it difficult, if not impossible, for animals to find food. For species like the mountain goat, whose survival depends on foraging for the sparse vegetation hidden beneath the snow, these storms can mean days or even weeks of starvation. The relentless cold saps their strength, and the unyielding snow creates a barrier between them and the sustenance they need to survive. In the face of these storms, many animals must seek shelter, often retreating to caves, crevices, or dense forests where the wind cannot reach them. Yet even here, they are not entirely safe. Prolonged exposure to the cold can lead to hypothermia, and the lack of food can weaken them, making them more vulnerable to predators once the storm passes. For smaller creatures like the ptarmigan, the danger comes not just from the storm itself, but from the aftermath. After a storm, the snow often hardens, creating a crust that makes it difficult to dig for food. These birds, adapted to blend into their snowy surroundings, may find themselves struggling to find enough food to sustain their energy levels in the bitter cold. As winter deepens, the mountains accumulate vast amounts of snow, often creating a beautiful yet deadly mantle over the peaks and valleys. But with the growing unpredictability of weather patterns, these snow masses can become unstable, leading to avalanches, one of the most destructive forces in mountainous environments, capable of moving at speeds of up to 300 kilometers per hour and releasing the energy equivalent to a small earthquake. Avalanches, once a natural part of the mountain ecosystem, are becoming larger and more frequent due to the shifting climate. The increasing occurrence of temperature fluctuations causes layers of snow to melt and refreeze, creating weak spots that can trigger massive slides. When an avalanche roars down a mountain, it moves with terrifying speed, obliterating everything in its path. For mountain-dwelling animals, avalanches are an ever-present threat. A snow leopard stalking its prey along a steep slope may suddenly find the ground beneath it giving way, swept up in a tidal wave of snow and ice. Even the most agile creatures, like the ibex, are no match for the sheer force of an avalanche. Their survival hinges on their ability to sense the danger in time to flee, but often the warning comes too late. The aftermath of an avalanche can be just as devastating. The landscape is altered in an instant, with familiar terrain buried under tons of snow and debris. For herbivores, this means the loss of already scarce food sources, while predators may find their hunting grounds disrupted. The destruction also affects the vegetation, as avalanches can strip the ground bare, tearing up plants by the roots and altering the ecosystem for years to come. In the mountains, winter is a time of stark contrasts, where the beauty of the snow-covered peaks belies the harsh realities faced by the animals living there. Every day is a fight for survival, a constant battle against the elements that requires both physical endurance and instinctive adaptation. The mountain goat, for example, not only endures the biting cold and deep snow, but must also navigate the treacherous cliffs and ledges where it lives. These animals are equipped with specialized hooves that grip the rocky terrain, allowing them to escape predators and seek out the lichen and mosses that sustain them during the long winter months. Yet, when the snow falls too heavily or the storms rage too fiercely, even these skilled climbers find themselves at the mercy of nature. For predators like the snow leopard, winter brings its own set of challenges. With prey harder to find and the cold sapping their strength, these solitary hunters must cover vast territories in search of food, sometimes traveling over 40 kilometers in a single day. Their keen senses and stealth become even more crucial as they navigate the snow-covered terrain, where a single misstep could mean the difference between life and death. In the towering heights of the world's great mountain ranges, where the earth stretches skyward and the air grows thin, the challenges of survival are as vast as the peaks themselves. High above the rocky crags and windswept valleys, the golden eagle reigns supreme with a wingspan of up to 2.3 meters, making it one of the largest and most powerful birds of prey. These majestic birds, with wingspans stretching nearly 7 feet, are among the most skilled aerial predators in the world. In the thin air of the mountains, where oxygen is scarce and the winds are fierce, golden eagles have evolved to not only survive, but to dominate the skies. One of the most remarkable survival strategies of the golden eagle is its mastery of air currents. The mountainous terrain creates updrafts, columns of rising air that these eagles expertly use to soar effortlessly across great distances with minimal energy expenditure, allowing them to cover up to 200 square kilometers in a single day. By riding these thermals, golden eagles can scan vast areas for prey without the need for constant wing flapping, conserving precious energy in an environment where every calorie counts. When it comes to foraging, golden eagles are both patient and opportunistic. They have keen eyesight, capable of spotting prey from miles away. Once a target is identified, the eagle will dive at incredible speeds, reaching over 150 miles per hour to strike its prey with deadly precision. Their diet is varied and adaptable, ranging from small mammals like hares and marmots to even larger ungulates such as young deer or mountain goats. In the leaner months of winter, when prey becomes scarce, golden eagles demonstrate remarkable resilience by scavenging carrion, ensuring their survival in even the hardest conditions. In the shadowed valleys and steep cliffs of the Himalayas and Central Asia, the snow leopard prowls, a ghostly figure perfectly adapted to one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. With a population estimated at fewer than 7,000 individuals, making them one of the most elusive big cats. Known as the ghost of the mountains, the snow leopard embodies the essence of resilience, navigating a world where food is scarce, temperatures plunge far below freezing, and the terrain is treacherous. Snow leopards are built for the cold. Their thick, dense fur provides insulation against the biting winds and freezing temperatures of their high-altitude homes, where temperatures can drop as low as minus 40 degrees Celsius. Their large nasal cavities warm the cold air as they breathe, and their wide fur-covered paws act like snowshoes, distributing their weight as they traverse snow and ice. These adaptations are critical for their survival in an environment where many would perish. However, what truly sets snow leopards apart is their incredible resilience, even in the face of injury. Life in the mountains is fraught with danger, and injuries can easily occur during hunts or territorial disputes. Despite this, snow leopards have been known to continue hunting and caring for their young, even while injured. This resilience is a testament to their determination to survive, no matter the odds. The snow leopard's hunting strategy is one of patience and stealth. These solitary predators rely on their camouflage to blend into the rocky terrain, stalking their prey with an almost supernatural quietness. Once close enough, they launch a powerful and precise attack, relying on their strong hind legs to leap across crevices and over rocky outcrops to catch their prey. Their diet primarily consists of ibex, blue sheep, and other mountain ungulates, but like the golden eagle, snow leopards are also opportunistic, feeding on smaller animals or carrion when necessary. In the high mountains, survival is a game of inches, where the smallest advantage can mean the difference between life and death. The golden eagle and snow leopard represent two of the many species that have not only adapted to these harsh environments, but have thrived. Their survival strategies are as varied as they are ingenious, each finely tuned to the unique challenges of their surroundings. The resilience and adaptability of these animals highlight the intricate balance of life in mountainous environments. Every species, from the largest predator to the smallest prey, plays a role in maintaining the fragile ecosystem of the mountains. The golden eagle's role as a top predator helps control the populations of smaller mammals, while the snow leopard's hunting of ungulates ensures that vegetation isn't overgrazed, maintaining the health of the alpine meadows. As we marvel at these creatures and their survival strategies, we are reminded of the majesty and fragility of the natural world. The mountains, with all their beauty and danger, are a testament to the power of adaptation and the resilience of life. In these lofty heights where the earth meets the sky, the struggle for survival continues, a silent, ongoing testament to the wonders of evolution and the enduring spirit of nature. The air is thin, the weather unpredictable, and the terrain rugged. But somehow the animals manage to prevail, finding shelter, food, and, perhaps most importantly, each other. Despite all the odds, snow leopards are still breeding here in the Himalayas. They are living proof of the incredible ability of mountain animals to thrive in a changing world. Their descendants are the hope of the future. Who do you think will win, nature or these animals? Leave your comments below the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch other interesting videos.